Happy Monday. Welcome back. Buenos dias, mi amigos. Morning, morning, morning. Margin, Brian English, 3D printer. 3D printer. Ponzi, Chef. Morning, Larry. Morning, guys. Welcome back. One second, guys. I got to send this text. Tough week for New York sports. Yeah. I mean, the Knicks, maybe a little bit more concerning for the Knicks. I'm not too concerned about the Rangers. I think they needed to. I mean, we almost won that game 4, and I was sort of expecting to at least give one back to the Hurricanes. So if that's the one, that's fine. Now, if we lose at home tonight, then I'm a little bit more concerned. So hoping we wrap it up tonight, the Rangers. Everything transitioned to Schwab this morning on TOS. I had no problems. I don't know about you guys. Does anyone have any problems with TOS? For me, no problems. Easy transition. Levels all stayed there. All my presets saved. Everything was good. So we'll see. We'll have to see if there's any improvement on order fills for TOS with Schwab. If there is, I would personally love to trade off Thinkorswim. I would love to be able to just trade on one platform, but the fills, the orders, everything just, it's not good enough for me. At least previously. Maybe it'll improve. We'll see. The mobile levels aren't there. Alpha. I did realize that. My mobile levels are not there. So that's a little bit of a pain in the ass. I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah, because my levels on my phone are not all there. And that's a pain because if you have to put mobile levels on, that is not fun. So that's not great. TOS fills are awesome now? Really? Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll put like a few K in like a TOS account, in my TOS account, see how it is. Mobile quotes are delayed. Yeah, I'll give it some time. Your mobile levels are there? Yeah, mine's not. So I don't know. Maybe I need to update my app. I'll take a look at it later. Morning, guys. Welcome back. A little bit of action this morning. A little bit of life, it looks like. You got Nvidia waking up a little bit. Back higher into that 910 level we've been talking about. I know everyone's horned up about GameStop. Roaring Kitty tweeting. That is not a reason for GameStop to go up, but obviously, the army has assembled. Chef, MOASS, Chef. I know you're, we're always kidding about the MOASS. Some levels to be watching there on GameStop that I'll point out for you guys. I will not be trading GameStop, just to let everyone know. I just gonna stick to what I usually do, man. I'm not gonna start looking for, in dark alleyways to find the answer. But hey, sometimes you might get rewarded going down dark alleyways. It's possible. But typically, I stay away from the dark alleyways. But GME, a little bit of upside opportunity, a little bit of upside overnight on GME because of a tweet from the from the facilitator. So interesting there. We'll have to see how the small caps respond. You can keep an eye on that Russell, see if that Russell finds some strength as well. Yeah, I am seeing a decent amount of strength on semiconductors, so that is somewhere I will be watching today. You are seeing that MU 4-hour flag. That worked beautifully. We've been talking about that MU 4-hour flag. Nice strength there. A little bit of strength on Qualcomm, a little bit of strength on Nvidia. So a couple of semiconductors finding some juice this morning. So we'll see. And we'll set up our levels. All right. Welcome back, everyone. If you could, before we start, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. And here we go. Economic calendar. Let's start there because we do have some economic news this week, which I don't mind. Right? I'm actually, like we said last week, I'm actually happy we're getting a little bit of catalyst here. I think last week was just sort of a dead week. No catalyst across the board. Volume was light. One of my worst weeks of trading this year. I think I'm going to try to get that video out tonight. Just sort of talk about my week last week. Some focus a little bit more on the psychology. A little bit more on, I did the same thing last week, same trades, same type of levels, retest trades, pretty much kept everything the same as I usually do, but didn't quite work. And sort of how does that affect your mentality, your psychology when trading? Because, for me, it was a little bit demotivating seeing like the things that I usually trade just not work. But that's last week. I'm going to move forward, but I do want to get a video out for you guys about that last week. I think it's my responsibility to do so. So I will do that. But let's focus on this week. A lot of opportunities, more opportunities, and hopefully make back some of those losses from last week. So today, Monday, not much on the calendar today, but you are going to be anticipating some news this week. So tomorrow you have PPI, which is interesting that you have PPI before CPI. I have no idea why they decide to change this up because typically you have CPI before the PPI print. So this time around, we will have PPI before, which is going to be Tuesday, tomorrow at 8:30. So let's be aware of that, right? When we come in, tonight, if you're going to swing trade anything, make sure you understand, hey, I do have PPI tomorrow morning. That could be a little bit of an effect on the market. So let me be careful doing any type of swing trades overnight into that event. That is important. Powell also speaking tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm not sure exactly what is going to be talked about here at 10 o'clock, but he will be opening his mouth. So we know that whenever Powell opens his mouth, there is a reason for volatility. All right, so 8:30 tomorrow morning, you have PPI. 10 o'clock tomorrow, 30 minutes after open, you have Powell speaking. So being aware of those two things as you approach tomorrow's market. Wednesday, we have CPI retail sales. It's very important as well. That's a big day right there. This is a very big day for the market. CPI and retail sales, two big events to be watching there. And then we have sort of our normal Thursday unemployment. That's our normal Thursday unemployment action. And that's pretty much it. You got a few other, light things peppered in there. But the main core of the week is going to be right here tomorrow and Wednesday. PPI, Powell speaking, retail sales, CPI tomorrow and Wednesday. All right, so be aware of that. Today, not too much. So one thing I do want to point out, right, we always have to remember, sometimes the market doesn't do much when it's coming to anticipate some economic data, right? So today, there's going to be a lot of anticipation for tomorrow, for Wednesday, right? So just be aware of that. Today might be a little bit of a hangover, right? A little bit of a Monday hangover from last week. Might still see some low volume. Might see a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of balanced action because of that event, because of those events tomorrow and on Wednesday. All right. So make sure we know that. Let's make sure we're aware of that, and let's make sure we're not swinging too much overnight. Right? Swinging too much overnight into PPI probably not your best bet. All right. So let's be aware of that. Let's go to the earnings calendar. I haven't even looked at it myself this week. Let me see what we got on the on the earnings side. Let me pull that up right now. Shout out Breadman for always posting this for me. You guys can see right here, we got the earnings calendar. That is not how we want to look at it. Today, nothing really that I see that's important today. Tomorrow morning, Alibaba, Home Depot, SE. Some interesting ones there. OnCloud, love these shoes. Interesting to see how OnCloud is doing. Tomorrow after close, Rumble, something that I've been sort of watching for a while, but not as confident as I once was there. Monday.com, nothing crazy here. Cisco, Walmart, Baidu, JD. Big day for some China stocks there, right? You got Baidu and JD, two big ones right there. Applied Materials, it's about it, man. Nothing really much there. So some of the core ones really would be Alibaba, Home Depot. I'd say Walmart, Baidu, JD. Probably just Walmart and Baidu. Interesting here, Baidu that was with Tesla, correct? That was with Tesla, right? The Baidu, what was that news again? Who can remind me what that news was? It had to do with Tesla. I should remember that. I don't know why I'm not. I think with the self-driving. So that could be interesting, right? How does Baidu react? I know it reacted a little bit post that data or that news from Tesla. Had a little bit of upside action. Looks like it rejected our 114 level pretty clearly. That was our very clear. Yeah, look at that. So it did reject that level that we talked about briefly. We had that Baidu 114 level and that 200 SMA. Yeah, so you can see right there, it did have that little pop on that news with Tesla, but it did end up failing our technical level still right here. This 114, we had that 114 high. We had that very clear wick fail of that 114 there. A little bit of downside off of that. So not much continuation on that news, on that little pop, that FSD news with Tesla. Did get that little action, but 114 failing. Earnings are approaching. Should be interesting to see what happens. So something to watch there. All right. Let's get into the futures. Pretty clear action on the ES and the NASDAQ, but the ES is very clear today. Once we get into that, I'll show you why. But here is the NASDAQ. Here is the 30-minute chart, and let's start going over some levels. So if you guys could, real quick, press that like button for me before we get into these futures. And here we go. So first level that I am watching today is right here. It's this Tuesday high. I'm keeping an eye on this Tuesday high. You see this right here, this Tuesday high right here? That is 18,265, 18,270. Keeping an eye on that level. That is a level that we are holding above this morning. All right, so we can see we had Tuesday highs. We had a drop and push back into that level on Friday. We had a rejection there end of day. Right, so right here, we can see we rejected that 18,265, which was that Tuesday high. We rejected it end of day Friday. This morning, we are above it, right? So very key. You can see we were above that 18,260, 18,265 zone this morning. That was a previous major high on Tuesday of last week. So you can see right now in the pre-market, we are attempting, all right, we're attempting a hold above that. You can see right here, 18,265, 265, and look at where we're trying to hold above this morning. So where's a level that I would look for some pullbacks today? If we get a pullback today, I would be looking to see what happens at that 265, right? That's a very clean pullback level. That is back to this Friday high or this Friday closing level, right, where we rejected end of day. And that would be back to that Tuesday high. And you can see that on the hourly. Let's go down to the 30-minute. You can see that right here on the 30-minute chart. So if we do get a pullback this morning, I think this would be a great first spot to watch to see what happens on the market. All right. Can we get a hold of that 18,265? That's number one. If we fail below that Tuesday high, right? If we fail below that Tuesday high, we could see some more downside continuation, which is what we saw on Friday. So let me go ahead and show you Friday, right? Right here on Friday, you can see we failed under that 265. We had a rejection here, and the downside continuation came in. So 18,265, 18,260, I think is going to be an important level to hold if we do pull back this morning. All right, if we get that pullback this morning, right here, I would want to see this maintain, this zone right here. If we do not hold there, then I think you will move back down to this right here, which is that 18,200. 18,200 is this high here, right? And it's that Friday low, right? Friday low, very nice. You can see Friday's move, came back down, came into that 18.2, started to get some very clear wicks back to the upside off that 18.2, and we can see that that was a strong hold level there on Friday. So 18.2 looks like a very important level this morning. If we do get that pullback, that could be another nice watch for that long. That's another nice demand level down below. So I have 18.2 being important, and I have this 18.265 being important here on the NASDAQ futures on any pullback. All right, on any pullback, keeping an eye on those levels. To the upside, the 18.350. This is big, right? If we go to the 4-hour chart and we zoom over to the left, all right, if we go to, let's go to the hourly chart, and then we'll go to the left. Let's go hourly chart. Let's get more time. I think you could see it a little bit better there on the 1 hour. So if we go to the left on the 1-hour chart, we'll show you where we rejected on Friday. Friday after that morning push was right here, right? This morning, this downside right here, that was 18,350, 18,355. That was this high. That was some previous highs here, right? We can see a lot of reactions and also up at that 18.4. So this is going to be a little bit of a heavy level. That's that April 15th move, right? April 15th was, what was April 15th? April 15th was where the downside on this market started to come in, right? The downside that we saw in the middle of April stemmed off of this level right here. This is where the downside started, right off 18,350. That's where the downside really started to come in. That was right here on April 15th. You see this rejection? That's 18,350. So we are right at 18,350 this morning, or we were on Friday morning. And you can see why did the NASDAQ reject that on Friday, right? Because of, well, one, that economic data that came out, but two, it was right at that 18,350 rejection point, right? Big time level there. So let's be a little bit careful into that 18,350 again, right? We saw the rejection that came in on Friday. Let's be careful of being a little bit too aggressive long into this level up here. There's definitely gonna be some selling that could occur on a push back into this level today. All right, so be aware of that. This is not just a Friday rejection point. This is a major 4-hour rejection point back from April 15th. This is where that downside really started to come in back in April, and it was off this 18,350. All right, so that is your major upside level to be careful of. If you get above that, I think you're pushing into that 18.4, okay? If you do get above this 18,350 high, I think you will push towards that 18.4. So very clear level here, right? Very clear level here. Friday's highs, 18,350. Why is that white? Let me go to make that red. 18,350, very clear above. First demand I'm watching here today is down at this 265, and then the second one that I'll be watching is down at the 18.2. All right, those are my major levels here on the NASDAQ right now. I would like to see a few things. I could look for this, right? I could look for the morning rejection, right? I could look for a move underneath the 18,265. I could look for something like this down into the 18.2, but I want to make sure I'm trading off these levels today, right? I want to make sure if I do take an entry today, I want to make sure they are close to these levels, reacting off major levels, not just random places, all right? QQQ. The big level on QQQ for me is 444. Now, let me show you why. 444 is a major reaction level in the past. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. I'm going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to show you $444 per share. You can see right here, 444. All of this 444 right here. 444 all right here on the Qs. You can see the 444 rejections right here, and you can see that that is where that major sort of rejection came in back in April, back in March, back in April. So 444 is also where we saw this rejection come in on Friday of last week, right here. We can see right here that 444 level definitely caused weakness on Friday. So let's be careful of that 444. That's going to be big, right? We can see there. We can see here. We can see that 444 causing some weakness. So if we get above 444, you guys know what we look for, right? If we look for that hold above 444, that could be nice. That could be something definitely to watch today. But before we look for that, we do need to be aware that this could be a little bit of a pullback level back into some important demands that we should be watching. The ones that I'll be watching today on the Qs, very similar to the NASDAQ. That Tuesday high, which is right here, 442, right? 442 would be my first level to watch for that pullback long. And then the second one that I'd be watching is 440.5. That is Friday's lows, right? That is also, if I zoom back a little bit, that is also where we had some general holds or general rejections, right? All right here. See all this? Holds here, 440.5. So that's very nice. Very similar to the NASDAQ, 440.5, 442, and then the very clear rejection up at 444. Some clear levels there on the QQQ today. So if we do get that pullback to 442, that's my first level to look for that pullback long. If we get below that, I'll watch 440.4. And then I just want to be careful being long today into 444, right? I want to be aware that that is a potential rejection point. I don't want to get too aggressively long if we're sort of holding below this level. This could be that next sort of pullback level that we need to be careful of. All right, so 444, 442, 440.5, three levels that I'm watching today on the QQQ. ES. So I think the ES is quite clear here, quite clean. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. I'm going to delete these levels for now and just show you the major levels first. But here is the 4-hour chart on the ES. And I think this is a very clean level above. This 5270 level, you can see right here. Let's go ahead and zoom into the left on the 4-hour chart. You can see right here. 5270, 5270. You can see how difficult it was for the ES to get above 5270 back here in early April, right? Look at this top that was formed at 5270 in early April. Multiple attempts to get above that, which ultimately created that downside move. So that 5270, I think, is going to be extremely important here in this week. So let's go into the short-term action now, and let's take a look at this on the short term. You can see right here that 5270 level that we just saw on the 4-hour chart is sitting right above. All right, that's where we rejected on Friday, and that's where we're starting to fade into today. So we need to be careful into our 5270 today. Let's be careful of, another maybe short-term pullback off that level. If we do get that, there's some demands below to be watching. For me, you can see that Friday hold. This is why I did have this level as well, a little short-term level. You can see that little Friday hold around that 5235. So that could be a short-term level to watch, that 5235 Friday lows. What do I like more than that? Right, I like this more than that 5235. I like this 5227. That's this high here from Tuesday. That's this hold here from Thursday. All right, you can see on Thursday, we got above that 27. We held above it, and that created the next upside move. So I like this area right here, around that 5227. If we do get that pullback, that's something I will be watching, that 5227. I'm a little bit cautious of Friday's lows, right, because that could also be a hold level. So I'm sort of keeping that on my charts as well. I'm keeping Friday lows on my charts, and I'm keeping that Tuesday high on my charts, right? Understanding that pullbacks to both these areas could be interesting long opportunities. Now, if we break below that Tuesday high, right, if we break below this Tuesday high and that Thursday hold level, you probably look for this 5187, right? This would really be the quality level. You can see 5187, 5187, also that 50 SMA down below. This could be a very interesting spot here on the ES if we do get that pullback. That would be if we get under this Tuesday low, though. I think this Tuesday low is very important. This is also that Thursday hold. Let me go to the 5-minute chart, and I'll show you that. Look at Thursday of last week. This is Thursday intraday of last week right here. See this hold? 5227. Right, this was very important on Thursday. This little action right here. This action right here created that upside move. right? And that was right off 52.27. That was right off Tuesday's highs. So if we do come back down into that level, sometime in the short term, if we do come back down into that 27, I think there is a reason to look for a pullback long. That is going to be a spot that I target. So keeping an eye on that. But for now, we're going to keep that Friday low intact. We're going to keep that 52.27 intact. And then we're just going to understand today that we're trading higher into the 52.70, which is that major 4-hour high. There's obviously some short-term levels you can put on your charts here. I want to stay with some of these larger-term levels. I want to make sure I'm trading off larger-term levels, right? I'm not that interested in trading off like a 5-minute hold here around this 52.45. Right? You can see we do have a little bit of 52.45 action here, right? You have this little hold here, some of that after-hour high from Friday or from Thursday. You definitely have some of those short-term levels you could sort of spot, but I'm going to keep my charts a little bit more zoomed out here and make sure that I'm only taking trades off major levels for now. Because my major levels are Friday lows, Tuesday highs, and that 52.70. Right? I'm not too interested in getting involved in this, sort of short-term 5 minutes type action in here. I want to be trading off the major levels. That's what I'm going to focus on for now. SPY, 4-hour. What's the high and what's the 4-hour major high on SPY? 524. Very big, right? Right here. 524, 524. The all-time high, including after hours, is about 525.84. I bet you if you went to the daily chart, it would be, it's 524.61. Not including after hours is 524.61. But we can definitely see, if we go to the 4-hour chart here, back at the all-time highs, we can definitely see that 524 had major reactions here, right? $524 per share on the SPY definitely had reactions in the past, back at that previous all-time high. Now we can see today we are trading towards that level, right? We are trading towards that all-time high, that 524 area. So let's be aware of that, okay? Let's be aware of that. Be aware that that 524 might be pretty heavy. The high of Friday. Do I even want to put a level at the high on Friday? I mean, really, 524 is the main level, right? 524 is the main level. We could make sure we know where Friday's highs is, just so we are aware of that, right, on the intraday. So we probably do want to put a little something there. 522.64. I say we can put a little. Let's just do something like this. Friday highs, right? We'll keep that on our charts there, Friday highs. But I think that 524 is really the main level. We just didn't quite reach it on Friday. I think probably because of that NASDAQ rejection that came in at that 350. But we could be aware of that Friday high. I think that's very important. Keep that on our charts, Friday highs. We know 524 is that all-time high, major rejection possibility up there. To the downside, let me go back to the 30-minute chart. Back to the 30-minute chart. You guys can see some demand levels that I'll be looking at for potential longs today if we get those pullbacks. The pullbacks, in my opinion, first one I'm watching is this 520. I think this is an interesting level to watch today, 520. Little double bottom from Friday. That could be an interesting spot to watch around that 520. Below 520, I really like the 518.50. 518.50 is textbook stuff. This is 518.50. This is 518.50, right? That went from a rejection spot to a support. That's that Tuesday and Thursday flip that we talked about on the ES right here. That Tuesday, Thursday flip at 52.26 is 518.50 on the SPY right there. Right? 518.50 on the SPY. So I don't know if we're going to get that pullback, right? I don't know if we're going to get that pullback, but if we do at some point, I'd say that is a level you want on your charts because that could be an interesting long. Before that, I'd say Friday lows around 520 would be something I'm watching. Okay? 521. Let me see what we got here. I don't want to make it too short term, right? Because I don't want to trade off just short term levels. You can see there is some reason to be watching right around here, right? What is this? 521.35. Yeah, like right here, 521.35. You can see a little bit of action in there, right? Why that level? Why did I put that there? Oh, you can see that is a little Friday rejection here. That is also a Friday rejection right there. That is also a Friday pre-market hold level, and that is this little pre-market rejection here as well. You can also see that is a pre-market hold level this morning, right? So multiple touches at that 521.35. You can see that very clearly right here, 521.35, 521.35, 521.35, 21.35, and again right there. So you could have that little level there, right? That looks like it has been a important level in the short term. Could this be a little short-term pullback long today? Yeah, very possible, right? So I'd say 521.35, make sure you understand that's a very short-term level. Under that, you probably get that Friday low, right? Under this, you probably get that Friday low, and that could be your nice spot to watch today. All right? What's that on the ES? On the ES, that is right here. That's, yeah, that's the 5250. Okay. Yeah, so 5250, that makes sense. Let's put that on our charts. That's the 5250 on the ES. That's right here. Boom, 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 boom. Clear. That's clear. All right, I like that. So 5250, right? So you guys can see how I just sort of built that level. 5250, 5250, 5250. Again, right? So this could be something to watch today, the 5250, alongside that Friday low, 5235. All right? Very nice there. Russell, small caps, trying to hold that 2070, right? You're really trying to hold that 2070, and it's definitely proven that it's attempting. So you can see 2070, right? 2070 attempting to hold here this morning. The problem I have with the Russell is it's in a channel here. Could probably move this down to like 60, like 65, 70. This whole zone right here looks like it's trying to hold that 2065, 2070 zone. The only thing I'd be careful of here, guys, on the Russell is I don't really love this zone right in here. There's a very clear zone, very clear channel here between 2120 and to 2070. You can see, let's look at the previous price action in here, right? Previous price action in here. I mean, you can see what it did, right? It's very clear. It came off the 2070, grinded into the 2120, rejected, right? Came back down into demand at 2070, grinded back into the 2120, and rejected, right? So it's nice, right? You can see right here, nice holds, nice rejections, very clear channel right there between 2070 and 2120. So let's be aware of that, right? That's pretty much what you're doing right now. So what could the Russell do one of these, right? What it did in the past, right? Could we see this? Absolutely, right? We just saw that previously. We saw the Russell do that in the past. You saw the Russell grind higher, right? Off that 2070. That could be the move we're looking at here. So let's be aware of that. If you like the Russell long, I'd say make sure you're above 2070, 2065. All right? 2070, 2065. All right? Let's be aware of that. Dow Jones, very strong. Nice strength on the Dow, right into a major 39.7. This is a big level here today for Mr. Dow, for Daniel Jones, and for Indiana Jones, and Russell. There's no Russell Jones, is there? John Paul Jones. So you can see right here, right? That 39.7, 39.7, 39.7, 39.7. Look at how many times there's been reactions at 39.7 on the Dow Jones. And you can see right now, that was where we rejected on Friday, right? The 39.7. Look at that rejection on Friday at 39.7. And look at that hold. Look at that hold right now. Look at that little 5-minute candle right there at 39.7 on the Dow. Very interesting. Very interesting at 39.7. So I would say if the Dow holds over 39.7 today, that is an interesting reason for more upside on the Dow. right? That is an interesting. If the Dow can reclaim that 39.7, that could be a very clear reason for further upside here in the Dow. Watch 39.7 on the Dow Jones. All right. That's the futures. Let me get a sip of water. Press the like button. Can we get 1,000 likes? Toast looks good. Yeah, Toast is up to 27. All right, let's go to, let's start with some stocks. If you guys could, press that like button for me, subscribe. We're going to get into some stocks here. Here we go. So, Tesla. First stock. Tesla has been a very weak name again. It's back to its piglet makeup type move. That 186 rejection was big time. You guys saw right here. That 186 rejection was big time. That was a very clear rejection there. Actually had some puts overnight back there early last week. Should have held them, obviously, but I didn't. But that's trading. There will be countless times where you wish you held something. But that was a very nice rejection of 186. And since then, man, it's back into the pop and fades, right? The pop and fades are back on Tesla. So let's see, right? Let's see if there's another pop and fade move somewhere here. Where's the real level I'd like to see a pop and fade into today? I would really like the 172 level. That would really be my favorite pop and fade level on Tesla. That's the 50 SMA, and that's some major previous lows at 172. So if we do get into that 172, I'd look to see if there's weakness there. That's definitely a level I'd watch. If you get back over 172, then you're going to sort of move back, I'd say, back into that 176. So really, for me, the major level is 172. There is a level here at 170.5, right? If Tesla's really weak today and can't even get over that Wednesday low, then that is concerning, and that could be a reason for further downside. If it can't even get over that Wednesday low, which is 170.5, that would be a level you could watch. But I would personally be more confident in 172 and 50 SMA. That would be a more heavy and more confident level for me. The reason I'm a little bit less confident on the 170.5 is because it is just a little bit too close, in my opinion, to this 20 SMA that's causing a little bit of upside reaction today. All right. You have that 20 SMA hold that's coming in right underneath us, and I don't want to be short too close to that because there could be a lot of games that are played around this 20 SMA, right? Some failed attempts lower that keep popping higher. I don't really want to be too short near that 20. So what would I rather see? I'd rather see this thing fade, right? I'd rather see this thing pop back into the 172 and then look to see if there's another play. 172 is going to be my main watch on Tesla. Nvidia, she's juicing a little bit, right? But we've seen her juice in the past, and that was on Friday, right? And what did it do Friday, right? Nvidia broke that flag on Friday, but what did it do? It rejected that 910 again, that 910.50. We've seen this level multiple times. This 910.50, 910.50, 910.50, 3 days in a row last week. Wednesday, major rejection there. Thursday, big time rejection there. And Friday, big time rejection at the 910.50. So, as much as I like how this is looking, because it looks good, right? Don't get me wrong. This looks really interesting, right? We've been talking about this. The flagging action, does it create some kind of an upside push here? Very interesting, very much a watch. But where do I want to see us get over? And where do I need that confirmation? I need this level to turn into support. If that level right there turns into support, I think it's all systems go. All right? If you get a clear hold over 910.50, I think that is a very good reason to look for that upside continuation. If you can hold above Friday's highs, Thursday's highs, and Wednesday's highs. People that do not wait for that are at risk of seeing this again, right? You're at risk of seeing that little pop above, no hold, fade right back down to the 895 demand. That is still an at-risk move, right? You're still at risk of that happening. So be aware of that. 895 has been an awesome demand, has held beautifully over the last week, right? We've seen multiple holds there. Very clean, right? But we need that confirmation. We do not want to get stuck in a 9-10-50 rejection again, the same level that rejected 3 days in the past. We want to get a clear confirmation above that level. If we can start to get that, I think that is our reason to look long. So definitely watching 9-10-50 today. That is going to be probably my number one watch there. AMD. Man, does it look interesting as well for that sort of comeback play, but I can't forget about that Friday move, man. That Friday move sort of proves to me that AMD is not ready, that I don't want to be involved in this long, and it was just a nasty case of sellers stepping back in very heavy. It looked good early morning Friday. You saw that sort of, we talked about this flagging move to the downside, right? We saw this flagging move to the downside on AMD. We saw that 151 demand step in again, right? We saw that sort of push to the upside Friday. We go to the 5-minute chart, right? We see that nice squeeze early morning Friday starting to get some strength, and then bam, right? Right at where the sellers are stacked up, right at our 157 level. You get the slap in the face again, right? Right here at the 157. So do I want to be long into near 157? No, right? Definitely not, right? Friday had a little bit of a chance, had some nice volume coming in and a nice push to the upside, but that supply level smacked it down again. So I'm still under, you can definitely still tell that sellers are in control of this move. So don't love that. You could watch this 151 level again. We have seen this level hold, 151. It could cause that upside again. It's very possible. But I think I'm going to leave AMD alone in this zone here. I really don't like how it's been playing. Right? It seems very iffy, and I would only look for two different trades. It's either the 151 long or the 157 short. Right? Besides that, I would not get too involved in the middle of this zone here. MU, 4-hour chart, very clean 4-hour flag. We talked about this one last week. This worked out beautifully. That 4-hour flag off that 117 level. We had this 117. We had that 4-hour flag that we were sort of mapping out, and that thing broke out beautifully. Very nice MU move there over 117, and it's above now that 121, which I think is very important, right? Look at this. If we go over to the 4-hour chart, look to the left, where are the lows here? 121, 121, 121, little 121 action there, 121, right? So some nice holds, or for now, this morning, look at where we're holding above. We're holding above 121, right? Look at that. You rejected this last week, and look at where you're holding above today. So what would I look for today on MU? I would look for this, right? Little gap fill and then long. That's something I will definitely look for today on MU. A hold over 121. Very interesting. SMCI 800 continues to be a hold level, except I do not like what SMCI has done here. You can very clearly see what SMCI is doing, right? Look at this. Pop, rejection. Pop, rejection. Pop, rejection. So I don't like the continuation on SMCI. Could there be some kind of pop that you could trade and be profit taking before it comes in again? Yes, that is possible. But I do not like this right here to really feel like it's a confirmation move. So I'm going to wait off on SMCI. Let's go to, what was the one I wanted to look at? Oh, TSM. TSM, we traded this on Friday off the 148 retest. What a beautiful trade that was. You can see here on the 4-hour chart, this was your previous high on TSM, 148, very clear, right there, 148, very clear level. Let's go to the 30-minute. Look what TSM is doing right now. That is very interesting today, right? So I will definitely look to see if there's longs on TSM off 148 today. Now, on the flip side, if you break under 148, we do need to remember there is a major gap here on TSM from Friday's move. So number one, let's look to see if 148 holds. If 148 starts to hold and we start to see some upside action, I think that's definitely a long opportunity here. On the flip side, if we break under 148, there is a gap below that could fill. All right, so we need to be aware of both sides here. But 148 is your level. All right. Let's go to Meta. Meta, interesting. I'm watching this 473.40 level. You can see right here. You have this 473.40, 473.40. We held here. We rejected here. We sort of held that. We held this general 474 area on Friday. And I'm looking to see if we hold above this level. This level is important. It's not just short term. What else is 474? Or I'm sorry, 473. That is this low. All right, let me zoom out and give you a better look at that. 4-hour chart. If we go here and we look at this 4-hour, the low of this wick right here is 473.40. Right? The exact low of this wick is 473.40. Now, if we go into the short-term time frames, and we can see how that 4-hour wick at 473.40 has reacted in the short term. Look how clear that is, right? A 4-hour wick level reacting in the short term like that is very interesting. And that is where I'm looking to see if we can hold again today at that 473.40, something I will be watching on Meta. Yeah, Google very weak this morning. I'm not sure exactly what I'm not sure the exact news, but Google under this 168 is interesting. Let me get a little bit more time here. Google under this 168, I think, is potentially a reason for further downside. This is a major previous 168 level, and if we're under that, I'd say you're moving down into this 164. All right. I don't really like Google, right? Google under 168 to me is weak. And really the next demands possibly a little lows here around this 165.50. I see a little bit of action there, 165.50. And then also that 20 SMA down at 164 would be the two levels I'd watch to the downside. But for now, very clear rejections right here. Look at this under Friday's lows, right? Friday's lows, 168. Look at that little rejection under 168 this morning. So if you want to look for Rangers, or someone said Rangers. If you want to look for Google, look for that pop in 168. That could be a nice level to watch today. Let's go to Coinbase real quick. I want to make sure you guys are aware of this Coinbase 207 level. 207 is something I want to make sure you're aware of on Coinbase. You can see right here. 207, right? 207, 207. Look how clear that is right now. So 207 lows, 207, 206, and then look at this. Look at this little rejection here in the pre-market. So I would watch this 207 level on Coinbase. Not much for Apple. Own it, don't trade it. I still think Apple is holding up really nicely here. I think Apple has been sort of building, and it looks good for that sort of share, just sort of purchasing those shares, in my opinion. That 200, 100 SMA, just holding this thing up. I like how this is building. I like that Apple hold. Keeping an eye on that Apple hold. 187 is your big level above. And then let's go to what everyone's waiting for. And that is GME, GameStop. Here's the level I'd be careful of here, guys. I would zoom out. Make sure you zoom out and look at, okay, where has GameStop rejected in the past? Where have those horny bounces failed, right? This is a horny bounce this morning. This is where, this is this. Horny bounce, right? Oh my God, GME's up, right? Those sort of pops in the past, and every pop in the past has resulted in you know what I'm about to say, right? Every pop in the past has resulted in that. Now, of course, obviously not the real pop, the pop that we all, started to know about GameStop on. But every pop since then has resulted in that drop. So be careful. That's my first thing. I'll say, swim at your own risk here. I do not do anything on GameStop in accordance to what I'm about to say, because I am definitely not someone that knows what's going to happen here on GameStop. But I will say the level to be watching is 28. Okay, that I think is the level to be watching. That is a very clear weekly chart level here. You can see it, 28, 28, 28, 28, right? And this would be the level that I think you'll probably move higher into, right? That's probably the level that you'll move higher into, 28, right? Before you get some weakness come in. So I would be aware of that 28. For anyone that's out there that's trading GameStop today, I know there's some of you guys, I would say please be careful at 28. All right? That's going to be the level that I'd say you could get a little bit of weakness at. Let me show you that on the daily chart. You can see right here, 28, right? Look at how clear that is. Right there, right there, right there, all right there, and right there. So that would be the level I'd be careful of today, guys, 28, all right? If you get over 28, then maybe that squeeze continues, but that is definitely something to be careful of. Just want to make sure you guys are protected there. All right? NASDAQ staying strong, 18,350. That's our major supply above. Let's keep an eye on that. 5270 is that major ES level. Let's be aware of that. So let's keep an eye on those two levels today. That is about all I got, guys. So keep those key levels on your charts. Make sure you're aware of that Friday high rejection spot. That's going to be big today. Let's make sure we're aware that we are up in the pre-market. We have a gap up in the pre-market into that Friday rejection point. All right, that's your first sort of read of the day. We're gapped up pre-market into that Friday high. That's where we have to be cautious today. All right? All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. I hope you guys found some interesting trades, some setups, some levels that could help you today. If you did, press that like button. We got 1,000 likes. I appreciate that, guys. We'll be here all week, back in the swing of things. Start today with a good green day this week. I'm excited for it. I'm already manifesting that. So press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys mañana. Adios, amigo.